Okay, so before I forget, because it just popped back into my head, I wanted to share something with everyone that I experienced while meditating last night. So there's going to be a lot of different views on what a deity is, or God archetypes, right? But basically, I mean, there is some entities out there that might be collective energies that create a god, or maybe there's an actual person that is the god that, you know, we call God, but really they're just another being from another place, another dimension. Honestly, the possibilities are endless, so choose what you want to believe, okay? But I'm thinking it's because I'm at a crossroads in my life, and I have been for a minute, that I get called to the energy that is what people see as the goddess of magic, like Hekate. But the way I see her, I don't see her like other people. The way I see Hekate is she is an alien, and I saw her sitting in like this room with other beings, and she has like a turquoisey blue skin, and her head is quite large. Okay, right? So it kind of goes up, and it's like this big, large head. But she's very elegant. She's very beautiful. And when she does turn her head, it does look like she has two faces on either side. So there's like a face and a face and a face. Right? And if she's an alien being, then that wouldn't really be too far off. It could be totally possible. But then last night, these faces, because she has the ability to change her physical structure. So her faces stepped out, and she became like almost humanoid, and all but three. She was three individual beings. But then the beings all stood out, and they became a triangle. And each being represented three, even though they were one. So then there's 3 to the power of 3. And there was 9.
And then I went to the
Hekate literally is God energy. Okay? So, but the God energy, the triad, the 3, it can represent so much. There's so much meaning there. And it can literally, you know, depending on what you're going through, depending on what you're experiencing, that could apply to so many different things. It's endless. Again, limitless, right? God energy, 9. I don't even know how to address that part. But for me, the message was that there's always going to be 3 parts of you as a person that has to make the choice when you're at a crossroads. It's not just one part of you. There's 3 parts to you that make the choice. And that's not including your physical meaty flesh sack. That's your mental, your spiritual, okay, and your emotional. And they all have to be harmonized. Your body's going to follow along, okay? Don't worry. It's not in control. It's just, you're just using it as an avatar here on Earth, so don't worry about that. But all of those other 3 aspects of you, you have to harmonize them into whatever decision you're about to make. And that means you might have a lot of work to do, because you have to feel emotions and heal, right? Emotions want to be felt. They want to be experienced. The whole point of this is the experience. But you have to understand you are not your emotions. And the same thing with your spirituality, right? You are a spiritual being in a sense, and your spiritual experiences matter and they're valid. But you are more than just your spiritual experience. Keep that in mind, okay? You wouldn't be having the spiritual experience if Source didn't want to experience itself, which means that Source is spirit, which means you are Source, which means you are more than spirit, because you are Source, because you are one, because you are all, because you are everything. That's a lot to take in, isn't it? Yeah. So what I wanted to summarize this with is that if you feel, I don't want to call them delusions per se, but I do like the way Bashar describes them as permission slips. If you find yourself called to a certain type of practice or a cult tradition or anything like that, because I've been studying different ones and comparing them and correlating, you know, commonalities and differences, and seeing what the core root belief systems are in many of these different occult or pagan traditions, religions, rituals, teachings. And there's always one fundamental truth. belief. It's all about what you choose to believe. None of it matters if you don't believe it, right? So choose to believe what you want, and just know that if you are at a crossroads and someone's telling you, Hekate is calling you, she's not asking you to worship her. She's not asking you to give your power to her. What she's asking you to do is look at the 3 parts of you and explore those 3 parts openly. Harmonize those 3 parts of you that you need to in order to make your next choice. Because you're not supposed to follow someone else's path. You're not. You're supposed to blaze your own. And you can't do that unless all of you are harmonized and in sync, wanting the same thing. Right? Because if one of you is afraid, I don't want to do that, that's scary. And the other part's like, let's go do that. Right? That's exciting. And then another part of you is like, well, if we do that, then maybe this might happen. No. You're never going to make a decision, are you? Because you're not harmonized. You're not in sync. All 3 parts of you. Your emotional part is afraid. Your spiritual part is worried because you're afraid and confused because it doesn't understand. It's like, well, you told me I can do whatever I want as long as I believe it. But now we're afraid. Why are we afraid? And yeah, and then mentally up there, your brain starts chitter-chattering the monkey brain, and you get stuck in that whole like... And too many things can get confusing. Especially if you're an intellect and you like to research stuff. A lot of information contradicts each other, and it can get very, very confusing. Very, 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 very fast. So, belief is power. What you choose to believe is power. And Hekate is God power. And maybe that's why she was called the Titan. Maybe that's why she's one of the oldest goddesses, in history that we found in recordings, and we don't even really know exactly 100% where she comes from. And maybe she's part of Ishtar. Maybe she's part of, there's some other old goddesses out there. Who knows? Maybe she's all of those goddesses, and they just have different names, right? I've been spending a lot of time with this version of her that I see, and asking her to show me what I need to know about myself so that I can make the choices that are for my highest good. It's been a lot of fun. And let me tell you though, she's a hard master. She does not make it easy for you. You have to face yourself 100% in the raw. There is no hiding anything from yourself. If you want to go forward, you have to face all parts of yourself, the parts you like, you don't like, admit what you're afraid of. Even if you don't want to, your pride is like, I don't have any fear, I'm not afraid of anything. Oh no, you do. We all have fears. That's why courage is doing what needs to be done in the face of fear, because we all have fears. But understanding though, the fear is just showing you places you can grow. Makes it a bit easier too. So that was my cool experience with Hekate. I've been spending a lot of time with different entities, beings in my head, and I can feel another consciousness expansion coming. So that's kind of exciting too. But I just thought I'd share that with everybody. And I hope that if anyone has any experiences regarding like their own visions or encounters on different dimensions or realms with other beings, I would love to hear about them. I find this like super exciting and fascinating because a lot of it has to do with our beliefs, right? And if I don't have a belief system in place and I'm seeing these things unexpectedly, I'm just, I'm in awe, because how much of it really is my imagination and how much is that actually coming from source or coming from this energy that is Hekate herself. What if Hekate is 3 goddesses and not just one? Like, there's just so many possibilities again, right? I love it. It's like a mystery I need to solve. Anyways, have a great day, guys. Bye.